Hi everyone and welcome to another Designed with Nicole Nowosad for Scrapbook and Cards Today magazine. Today we're going to make a mosaic background with lots of little pieces of paper and of course some fun embellishments. Today I'm using the Family & Co. Collection by Fancy Pants Designs. It's a really fun collection. There's lots of great patterns and colors in it. This is great for both masculine and feminine pages. I really love the mix of the red with the yellow and the yellow gold and the teal, and you can see there's some pops of black as well. What I'm doing for this background is I wanted to create a bit of a heart mosaic. So as you can see there, I drew a very light pencil line onto the background of my cardstock, and I have a whole bunch of 1 by 1 inch square pieces of paper. I've just cut these from a 6 by 6 paper pad from the Family & Co. Collection. And as you can see, I'm just kind of staggering them along my pencil line, trying to make my design look like a heart. Of course, my design's a heart. If you wanted to do this in a circle or a triangle or any other design, that would perfectly work as well. So you could do this several different ways. I really wanted to use the heart shape because I have this picture of my new puppy, and so I just thought it worked out kind of nice. And the colors in this collection were kind of nice with his coloring, so I went with that. So as I'm moving down through my heart shape, there's really no measuring involved. I know that is really hard for some people, but I'm just really eyeballing this here. If you wanted to use a ruler and you could go ahead and do that. I kind of want it to be a little bit whimsical, so I'm not worrying too much about that, but you definitely could. You can see here, I'm just kind of playing around with my basic design. I have all my squares kind of lined up there where I'd like them. I'm trying to mix up the color and the pattern as I move along, and I really want to make sure that I don't go too far down on one part of the page and then higher on the rest. So I left a bit of a gap there at the top, and that's okay. The bottom of the page for the most part will be filled in. So now that I have all my papers where I kind of want them, I'm just going to start adding them down. Again, if you wanted to use a ruler, this is a good place to do that. So you'd probably stick down your first row with the ruler and then line it up along a ruler edge to make sure it's completely straight. But like I said, my idea is that it would be kind of whimsical and not super straight. So that's how I'm doing it, but you can definitely change that up however you'd like. I'm also kind of scrunching these squares up a little closer with each other just because I am a little farther down on the page, and so instead of moving the whole thing up in one swoop and messing up the placement of the squares, I decided as I just stick these down, I'm just going to kind of snug them up a little bit closer together, and I'm adding a very small amount of adhesive just to the back side of each of those little squares. So you can see it comes along quite nicely. If you have a lot of scraps from another project you want to use up, this is a great way to do that. This is an excellent way to use a 6 by 6 paper pad. I know we get asked a lot of questions on how you can use those for your projects. This is a great way to do that. And now I'm just trying to decide if I want to finish off with a 3 on the bottom or make another row of 2, and I'm just going to stick with it like it is. So I've decided I'm just going to make sure I want to switch some of mine up. And then I decided I wanted to add a bit of an extra layer around the outside of my heart. So at first I was just going to layer together some different squares because I had so many left over. But then I decided to grab my circle punch here, and I believe this is a 1 inch circle punch, and I'm going to just punch a circle for each of those squares out on the outer edge of my heart. This is not completely necessary, but for me, I just wanted to add a bit of a detail around the outer edge so that the heart, as you'll see, will kind of pop up a little bit more. I'll show you a close-up of that at the end of the video so you can kind of see it, get a better idea of what I'm talking about. So I'm just going through, as you can see, and just putting those down, making sure I have all my circles for each color. That's just around the outside area of that heart shape. And right now you're probably thinking it's pretty silly, but it does look kind of cool in the end, I promise. So I have quite a few extra left over, but that's okay. I'll probably make a card or use them for another project. I don't throw away a lot of scraps. I love using scraps for scrapbooking. So I keep that kind of stuff. I know a lot of people have a general rule that they only keep pieces that are 4 inches or larger, for example. I don't do that. If I really like a paper, I will keep all those tiny little bits, and I will challenge myself to use those in a project. And I find I am typically challenged in a more creative way, so that's why I like to keep them. But whatever you want to do, if you want to throw those away, that's up to you. So you can see I'm just adding no glue to the backs of these circles. I'm just using my sewing machine to adhere these down. Sorry, I hit my camera there. and I'm just adding one at a time and stitching them down. Stitching, again, is not mandatory, but it adds a nice little texture. And for me, with the heart shape, it actually helps kind of show that heart design a little bit better than just the grid there. You'll be able to see in the close-ups a little bit better. So now you can see I have my heart all stitched out, and I'm just taking those circles that I've stitched in place and I'm just pop them up. It's a very subtle detail that you can see there. I will add a little foam adhesive in a little bit to the backing of those just so that they pop up on their own. And I'm going to map my photo a little bit. I've already added foam adhesive to the back of the photo, but I decided to pick this navy with has a bit of a yellow check in it, just to add a little bit of extra around my photo. And then I'm going to add that to my project right about here. And now kind of the fun little bits begin. So because I have that busy background, I've probably said this in other videos, I don't like adding a lot of extra stuff when I don't have to. So because I've used so much different pattern and color, that's one thing to be cautious of. You don't want to overload everything else on your project because you have all that pattern and color kind of working already. So you can see here where I'm adding that little tiny bits of adhesive with or behind those circles, and that really just helps punch the heart shape a little bit more. You can kind of see it a little bit better. Again, not completely necessary, but I just thought that was kind of a fun twist, something different to do on my page. If you were doing a circle shape, you clearly would not need to do this, but for the heart, I just thought it was something kind of fun. So now I have, as you can see, a whole bunch of great Fancy Pants Family & Co. Chipboard and stickers, and I'm having a real hard time deciding what I want to use. I really love these chipboard alphas, so I know I'm going to use that for the title of my page. I'm just trying to decide what color I want to go with. So I end up going with the navy kind of color because I use that for the back of my photo. My dog's name is Chase, so we are going to add that as part of the title. Thought about calling it Mr. Chase because we call him that, but I thought that was just too much, so I'm going to move on to the next thing. So I started with the largest embellishment, which is those chipboard letters. They're pretty bold, so I started with that first, and now I'm going to kind of work my way down to some smaller items. I am going to add a little foam adhesive in behind some of these letters, only because my photo was popped, and I really want that title to line up along the same height as that photo. So I'm adding that foam adhesive just to every other letter. And I'm actually using the chipboard to adhere to the top or the underside of the other letters. So it kind of helps balance each other out. So I have some fun tags here. I'm just going to try to decide which one I want to add to the top of my title. And I thought this little hexagon one was kind of like a cute dog tag looking one. So I decided to add that layer 2 tags together and add a little bit of twine. I really love this kind of natural twine. I use it a lot, and it's really great with this craft background. So I'm going to tie that onto my tags here. And sorry, I keep hitting my camera. And you can see it just adds like a little detail there to the top of my title. And there's almost so many fun tags in this tag pack. I don't know what to pick, but I decided on another one here, this circle one. I really wanted to kind of add more circles to the page, even though you can't really see the circles around the outside of the heart. The circles within the title area really help kind of balance that part out. And I really do believe that you should add some sort of circular elements to your page. It helps curve out some of those straight lines that a lot of us kind of get stuck in. There's a lot of fun ephemera and tags too in this collection. So you can see I've just dumped out a whole bunch of extra stuff here. And in this collection, there's actually even some dog and cat shapes. So I thought about using this little one. If it looked a little bit more like my dog, I probably would have used that one. But I didn't. So I'm just trying to decide, do I want to use it? I don't in the end, but it is a really cute one. So I'm just adding some little bits. I wanted to add something to the bottom of my photo just to add something to that area, the bottom right corner. So I added a little die cut heart there. And then I'm using some puffy stickers and more of that ephemera. You can see you get quite a bit in the package. I love these puffy stickers. There's lots of different shapes, as you can see. So I'm just adding a few of the circles and the hearts to the design of my page. And that just kind of helps bring more of the color into that bottom right corner where the hearts are. And so now I'm just going to finish off my page with a quick subtitle. I'm going to write hello stamped on my tag. And these are just some Hampton Art stamps I have picked up at the local box store. And I'm trying to decide, I really feel like it needs a little bit more. I'm going to add the date, which I always add to my layouts, but I'm still feeling that something's missing here for the title. So I have a scrap of craft cardstock left over, and I'm going to pull out those little stamps again, and I'm just going to add a sub-sentiment to add to my title. had I been smarter, I probably would have added in a journaling card underneath my title and then layered my title over that, just so I could add a little bit of journaling there. But you know what? It's too late now to go back. So in this case, you can either add some strips of journaling, which I do quite a bit, or you can handwrite it in yourself as well. So I just stamped "Welcome to the Family" on this little piece of craft cardstock. And I'm going to add a few little black droplets. Because I don't have a lot of black enamel dots in my stash, I get a lot of use out of this black mist. I'm trying not to use really big gloopy drops, so I've just tapped on a few little ones there. So here's a close-up of how everything looks. I really see the detail here of those circles layered over top of the squares. And I love how that thick, chunky title looks, layered with all the tags in behind. It's a really fun and simple page. This is something I definitely would do again, creating a different mosaic background. I hope you guys will give this one a try. I really like how this turned out. And I will see you again next month for another Designed with video. Bye-bye.